Hi everyone, welcome back to the March Flute channel and thank you for clicking on this video. Today I'm back with a video explaining to you very briefly why we practice with a metronome and how you can practice with one. Practicing with a metronome is one of the most important things you'll do as a flute student and as a music student in general to develop your rhythmic skills. Because we are doing so many other things when we play our musical instruments, sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to keep in time on top of doing everything else, and this is where using a metronome will come in very, very handy. Developing good rhythm is quite an important aspect of your flute playing or any other instrument that you're playing in general, and there are two parts to this. So the first part is consistency and speed, and what that basically means is your ability to play a certain phrase or a certain passage evenly in time and not speed up or slow down unconsciously. A metronome pulse is what can give you the most honest feedback on whether or not you are speeding up or slowing down with your pulse when you are playing. When you are keeping track of multiple things such as changing fingerings, reading notes, changing articulations, your sense of time can warp without you noticing, and so using that external pulse can really help you make sure that you are keeping in time. The second thing that using a metronome is useful for is to maintain your accuracy in rhythm. So basically in music there are a number of different rhythms, and our job as a musician, as a classical musician anyway, especially just at a student level if you're starting out, is to make those rhythms as clear and distinguishable from each other as possible. When you sort of get a little bit more advanced, you can start to play with the push and pull of the music, and you can speed up a little bit and slow down a little bit, and this technique is called rubato. But in order to execute rubato properly, you definitely need to be aware of what the original rhythm is and where your pulse is so that you don't stray too far from the original rhythm and make what you're playing just completely unrecognizable. This can present a really big issue when you are playing with other musicians, for example, because it can be very difficult for the musicians to figure out where you are up to in the music if the rhythm that you're playing is just too far from what's written on the page. To give a really basic example, in simple time, crotchets are worth one beat, which means when you are playing crotchets, you have to play one note per beat. And on the metronome, one beat is represented by a click, which means that every single note you play has to be together with the metronome. For a lot of beginner students especially, they actually find it quite difficult to pick up on the fact that they sometimes slow down or speed up on even simple rhythms such as crotchets, and so working with a metronome is a really good way to show them that they're doing something that they're not aware of and really help them develop their rhythmic accuracy. And quavers, or eighth notes, are worth half a beat, which means if you are playing quavers, you need to fit two notes into one beat. And if you're working with a metronome, you need to play two notes per click on the metronome. A lot of beginner students tend to make the mistake of placing the second quaver just a little bit too early from where it needs to be, and that is actually what a teacher means when they are saying that your rhythm is uneven. It's that you're not quite fitting the two quavers evenly within the beat. The good thing with digital metronomes, which come in the form of apps that you can download onto your phone, is that they do have a subdividing feature, so it actually sounds out those smaller beats for you, such as quavers, eighth notes, semi-quavers, 16th notes for you, so you know exactly where to place those little beats. Eventually, as your ears gain oral memory, you'll develop a natural sense of where the rhythms need to sit, and that is when you can sort of just move off using that subdividing feature all the time, although it's still really, really useful to check in once in a while. So that is the answer to the question why we need to practice with a metronome, and a very general, basic explanation on how we practice with one. Explaining rhythms, time signatures, and beat pulses can get a little bit complicated, so it may be a topic for another day. But I will leave all of my favorite metronome recommendations down in the description bar below. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you very much for watching. Happy fluting, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.